Hi, you're back with Yetta, and today we're going to talk about an amazing opportunity, or lots of opportunities actually, and that is investing worldwide. Not just in our city, which is an amazing place and something we certainly advocate for. And I also have an amazing guest with me from Panama. Well, kind of from Panama. Among lots of other places. So hello, Kelly.
Hi, Yetta. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here this morning.
And I'm thrilled to have you here. This is Kelly Crosbie, and she is she's going to tell you about herself rather than me do it. So, Kelly, why don't you do that?
Sure. So I'm Kelly Crosbie, and I'm going to take you all the way back to where I grew up. I grew up outside of Montreal on a small farm. I am the oldest of 5 children, raised by my mother and father. We lived on an organic farm.
Before organic farms were the craze, right?
Exactly.
So
my parents were very, very innovative and very creative, and definitely, it's because that's why I have such a good bill of health because of all the good food we ate on the farm. Great. But one of the things that just sort of the farm experience allowed me time to be really creative and use my imagination. We didn't have TV out there. So we had a lot of time. After several years on the farm, we then moved to Kingston, Ontario, where I did my high school. And then from Kingston, went to university up in Northern Ontario at Lakehead University. And then from there, I moved to Toronto and spent some time in Ottawa, and then made my way to Dubai.
Okay, Dubai from Quebec, Ontario.
It's a long way from the farm, let me tell you.
It is a long way from the farm. So you have somebody that's experienced the traditional real estate, and now, based on some life opportunities, really, and choices, is an expert on international real estate.
Really, what took me over to Dubai was the hotel industry, actually. And so there was a team that acquired the land, built the hotel, and then what we did is we went in and set it up. We hired the teams in the different departments, trained them, and then once the hotel was running, we would move on to another project. It was so exciting.
So real estate from the ground
up. Yes.
All right.
Yes. And so that was kind of neat. And that was really where I started to be exposed to the opportunities in the real estate industry. I really didn't buy property in Dubai. I wish I had back in the day. It's just, it is what it is, but it certainly I learned a lot. I learned a lot about an up-and-coming new market and the opportunities. If you buy in at the beginning, how that can really turn into a profitable investment. Yeah, it was really, really neat. So what ended up happening, after spending time in Dubai, I heard of this place called Panama, and I thought, well, what's this all about? And I happened to have my aunt was living there, so she encouraged me to go and spend some time with her and go there on vacation, and I did, and I absolutely fell in love with Panama.
You're not the only person I know that went on vacation to Panama and never came home.
Well, I ended up buying a property there. So that vacation turned into me deciding to go into business with my aunt, Judy, and buy property. And it was a huge opportunity. I could not have done it without her. She really made it possible, and I was much younger then. So.
Right. So having connections. So as Kelly's sharing her story, I'm hearing all of the things that will resonate with me, and that hopefully you're drawing the same conclusions I am. And yet, you know me, I like to paint the picture as simply as possible. And that is the idea that when you have somebody in the city you're going to, even if you don't know it yourself, if you trust them, if they're a trusted advisor, they're an amazing resource for figuring out what you ought to do and what you ought not do.
Oh, absolutely. Judy had been there for several years. She understood how the country was functioning, especially for an expatriate living in a foreign country.
Right.
She made her connections. She found a good lawyer. She had a translator. So it really made things move quickly for her. And then I come in, well, everything was already set up.
Right, and safe.
And safe.
Right, because
yes.
I think with foreign investments, the first thing that jumps into everybody's mind is the risk.
Yes,
And that it's
big
scary,
question.
right? Because there is risk, because we don't understand the language potentially. We don't understand the law of the land because it's very different than where we are. And so it can be really confusing. And so having that trusted set of advisors in that core group, it's what we teach in Canada around investing. You know, every time we do a workshop, which is regularly, there is so much information given. And one of the most important pieces is that circle of advisors that you bring around you, whether in Canada or abroad. And abroad, it's a bigger deal.
It is. It's not home, so you have to recognize that. And so knowing somebody and having somebody you can trust really makes all the difference.
Right. So what, beyond Panama being a nice place and up and coming, what was it that drove you there to on a whim, really, go for a visit, buy a property, and then start to transition?
So it was one day. I was sitting by the pool. My aunt had a beautiful property, and I was reading an article, and the article was really about how Panama was the new Dubai of Latin America. And the government at the time really, in Panama, is extremely progressive and had a lot of vision. They wanted to create a financial hub for the Americas or Latin America, create a system where foreign investors could easily come and set up their business.
So to make it easy.
Easy. They really removed the red tape, although it's taken about 10 years for it to be even more sophisticated, but that's what happens when you're a quickly growing country. What Panama was 10 years ago and what it is today is completely different. The skyline has changed so much, and they're not stopping. They're building artificial islands where it will have a host of hotels and residential properties, commercial space, all sorts of things will go out on that island. And they're also expanding the coastline. A lot of big companies and some of our beloved theme park companies, and I can't really get into who because it hasn't been publicly announced, but they have bought up about 6 kilometers squared land along the coastline. They have vision there. Hopefully they plan on building residential and commercial opportunities there too. So things are happening. And so it's a very exciting time for someone who's there now, who is invested, and it opens a door for a lot of people who are looking to invest.
Because it's still in some ways at its infancy.
It really is, yes. I'd like to sort of, if I go back and compare it to Dubai, Dubai had about 4 different stages. And the first stage really was in the 80s. That first group of people that went there to set up the multinationals, the companies that help set up the industries there. And so Panama right now, I would say, is in its phase 2. But phase 2 is very good because now the first phase has established a system which is friendly to foreign investors now. They did all the hard work.
Which
now
is
we
great.
can come and really reap the benefits. The other thing too, Yetta, and this is worth mentioning, is for the longest time, Panama was really promoted as the destination for retirees. It is no longer that. It is. I mean, it still is.
That, yeah.
Now it's for someone in their 20s, 30s, 40s. It's a great opportunity for somebody in that age group to go there and start their career. Or establish a business that you've always wanted to do, or if you're at a stage in your life where you want to transition and do something else, there are a lot of people who do that. They close things down here, or they put their properties here up, and they turn them into investment properties too,
which is
rentals.
wise. Yep.
And then they go down there and they start businesses, and it's really neat. Young families are doing this.
And so starting a business in Panama and owning property there is similar to Canadian real estate law or entirely different? Like, how much of a culture shock would it be for somebody? Because it sounds really simple. I mean, you went on a holiday,
Sure.
You did it, you navigated it, you figured it out. Is it as simple as it sounds?
It's a very good question. It's a very good question. The real estate market in Panama is still fragmented. They don't have these. They have AccuBeer, and they're doing a great job at standardizing the industry right now, and they're working very hard to do that. There is no MLS. Well, there's one that they just started, and they're trying to get traction on it. It's not quite there yet, but the more people that buy into it, eventually it will become a very, very good resource for people in the industry and people looking for properties.
Right.
So it gives you,
because it makes it simpler.
It does. In terms of the real estate laws, they have excellent laws there, and the legal system really does protect you when you buy property. So, it has come a long way, and there's still room for improvement. But with a good lawyer who you trust, and we have that, believe me, things will be just fine. I've been there for 10 years with property, and I have never had any problems.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
So investment opportunities, what does it look like in terms of what do they have to prepare if you're moving from here to there? Or even, I guess it's two questions.
Sure.
Investing, maybe a summer home or a winter home, I suppose,
Right.
is really the bigger deal.
Mm-hmm.
Or permanent residency. Like, are they two different things? How do they work?
Well, it really is down to what your intentions are. What is it you wish to achieve? So what I've noticed happening are, so we'll say, or someone who's close to retiring. I always advise my clients or people that I'm talking to about the opportunities to invest in Panama. If you know you're retiring in 5 years, that's a good time to start thinking about purchasing a property. So you get 5 years of getting maybe somebody in there to pay the mortgage, rent it out. So then when you get there, and if you do plan on living there during the winter months, you enjoy your property and then put it up to rent for the months that you're not there. So there's that. There are people who are moving there and are not moving there and just want to reap the benefits of investing property and turning their money over and growing it. So they go in and they buy several properties, and all they are rentals.
Okay.
So that's what's happening down there.
And so I'm assuming with it being a rentals from a Canadian person.
Yes, sure.
That there is a property manager.
There is, and there are some really good companies to work with down there, and certainly I'm happy to give referrals. But they do. It's a turnkey solution. You hand your keys to them, and they get somebody in there. They're looking after your property all the time. They're touching base with the people who are there. They're their point of contact. I haven't heard any terrible stories. It's all been really smooth.
Isn't that great? Because there's always a story to be told, right?
Right. And when you're far away, I can appreciate that would be a worry. Your property is a flight away. It's not if a pipe goes or something's happening with the renter. It's not, you can't get to your property easily. But having a property management company look after that, it's a good idea.
It really
I recommend it.
Yeah, and we have lots of other friends and clients and other realtors that we know, in fact, that have owned property in Panama and currently own property in Panama. Anyway, in Panama, and it's been a really good experience for all of them.
Oh, yeah.
They've seen appreciation. They've seen the properties be cared for. Like it's actually quite a safe and good system that's already been established. Like I'm happy we're in phase 2 because I don't know that these were quite the same stories if we go back 10 or more years, 15 or more years. Different. And now
it was more of the wild south, if you will. 10 years ago, there's still an element of that. That's really what makes Panama special too. It's still Latin America, so you still have that essence of it being a Latin American country with the modern efficiencies and infrastructure.
Which is cool.
Yes, it's amazing.
So if you're just joining us on the Inside Track on Real Estate, I'm Yetta Decker, and I'm with Kelly Crosbie today, and we've been talking about investments primarily in Panama, and yet the whole worldwide market is something we're going to talk about coming up in terms of investing. We still want you to invest at home. We're not asking you to not be here in Ottawa and the area, and yet there's often situations where it's really good to have some foreign investment as well.
Yes.
And because of, especially for vacation properties or for potential partial retirement or that kind of thing. So lots of really amazing, good opportunities are out there. So we're going to keep exploring that and also go a little bit broader into other markets. And Kelly's with us because she knows it. She's done it. And she's actually Canadian. So if you didn't catch the first part of the show, she's one of us. Who,
that's right.
Right?
I am.
Chose in her really quite young to experience the world and actually get into real estate investing outside of Canada. Now, one of the things that I think about, and we haven't even talked about it in all the times we've talked, and that is from a language perspective, is, do you speak Spanish?
I do,
Okay,
yes.
so how big a barrier is it if you don't? Because I don't think you did when you first...
No, I did not. I mean, I had a little bit, and I had a little bit of training in school, but other than that, I really learned it the longer I was in Panama, the more I picked up. It can be a barrier. Okay. It can be, but it isn't. It doesn't stop you. It doesn't. Panama, everybody speaks English as well, and the Americans occupied Panama back in the day. So it's a Spanish and English speaking country.
Okay.
Spanish being their number one language, right. But certainly I've never had a problem. And there are a lot of friends of mine that don't speak Spanish, are taking lessons. But
because it would make you more comfortable if you can understand what is going on culturally too. Right?
Yes, and it makes you appreciate the culture too, and also it shows a respect. You're in their country. It shows that you really do value that you're there and you're grateful to be a guest in their country. So I do always recommend. I mean, I even learned to speak Arabic a little bit, formalities and customs, and it really did help me. It helped me connect with the culture and helped me connect in business with the culture. Well, it opened a lot of doors for me.
So, referrals.
Yes.
That's something that I often think about because there's such a big world out there. And how I met Kelly, I don't think we even talked about that. We were at a Keller Williams function some time ago, and there were about 13,000 people there probably.
I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah, somewhere in that neighborhood. I think 15,000 throughout the events for those 4 or 5 days that it was going on. And we bumped into each other kind of in the
very
halls.
Random.
Very
out of the
very out of the blue. Someone else had
divine intervention, I think.
It was. And before we knew it, we were talking about histories and paths and realized that she's got a place in Ottawa and we're from Ottawa. Yeah. So I said, well, when you get here, come and hang out with us. So Keller Williams has gone worldwide now.
It has.
So 135,000 realtors, which is incredible, in new markets every day. I think we're in about a dozen countries now, and it seems it's expanding almost moment by moment worldwide. And Panama being just announced, really, back in February.
It was very exciting.
Very exciting. And so whether introductions to one of our KW associates, Keller Williams Associates worldwide now, or any other associate, we have a network that we've been part of for years, a global network as well. So if you are thinking of property anywhere, to me it seems like a really wise decision to have a connection in your hometown that now has a relationship also with the people that you're dealing with in the foreign country, because that will help create a safer and wiser experience, really.
Oh, I highly recommend it. I mean, the values, Keller Williams values are really about helping our customers and making sure that they have a beautiful experience from the start to all the way through.
Whether in Canada or abroad. Yeah.
And connecting with someone over in another country through the Keller Williams channels is so important, because for us in Panama, we've done our work, our homework. We know what the rules and regulations are to owning a property down there. and we'll make sure that you have a safe transaction as well.
Right, and they've done it firsthand. So
Yes.
the core team, the majority of the core team in Panama actually are Canadians.
We are. Well, Canadian, there's a little bit of everybody on the team, which is really neat. But yes, there's two of us that are Canadian, two American on the investment team, and two Panamanians, and it's wonderful. I mean, we're a diverse range of experience amongst all of us,
and understand all the systems between the collective understanding.
Oh yes, yeah. This has been quite an opportunity for me and a great experience. Starting up a franchise in another country is. It's quite a learning experience, too. I'm very excited about this.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah.
And so in terms of other like I know we've talked about real estate world forums, basically, in terms of investing in real estate. Mm-hmm. What's that all about, Kelly? I know this is your passion.
I know.
Investing in real estate. So we've got the opportunities for foreign investment everywhere.
So I couldn't forget my past, of course.
Right.
So my experience really, we talked about how stepping stones, and it leads you to where you are today. And where I'm at today is I'm diversifying and going into the real estate industry and learning about franchises and how to set them up. And owning one. Yeah, owning the region.
And being
for
the regional director for Panama, which will be about 17 offices.
Right now.
Yeah.
Who knows? And if the country keeps growing, it might be more. We hope for that always. And my background was oil and gas and doing technical workshops, conferences, small scale, large scale, learning forums and think tanks. And so taking that experience, I saw that there's a need in the real estate investment industry. So here I am. I'm now producing a series that will go all around the world. We'll start in Latin America. We'll really focus on the opportunities in Latin America, from commercial to residential to hotel investment opportunities, especially for an up-and-coming country like Panama. That's huge. And then over to Africa and so on and so forth. But really it's bringing different investment firms together, high net worth people, and different banks, and also developers worldwide, and bringing them together and creating opportunity. Looking at the challenges in the industry, then coming up with solutions to those challenges, and then looking at what potential future opportunities there are. So I'm really excited about this.
And I bet you're getting excited too, just listening to the possibilities. And it doesn't have to be scary. In fact, it's simple.
It really is. Really is. Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to achieve too. So when I meet people, I really want to, and I think I learned this from your son, Ryan, simple and brilliant. And that really resonated with me, because when you connect with people, it's sort of simplifying it, making it simple, not omitting important information.
No, you need to be detailed.
Because we have to be detailed, but really conveying the message in a way that they can really understand. And going over and investing in a foreign country shouldn't be complicated.
No.
It really can be simple, and it is simple. So that's the system I really want to create for people, and really bring them over and take them around the world. So, and invest and create wealth for themselves and their family. And that's...
and it's fun to do in Ottawa, and it's also fun if you want to travel and get to do it that way. So want you to connect with us so that we can connect you with Kelly or any of our other amazing people around the world. We've been focusing on Panama and a little bit Dubai, because that's where Kelly has most first-hand knowledge, and yet she has connections all over, actually.
Yes,
very connected with other people that are investors currently and investment groups. And then these forums are going to be awesome. So I want to provide you more information about that. And you might just find Ken and I over at one of them. I think that's going to happen, right?
Absolutely.
Because as you're aware, Ken's been the author of The Wealth Formula and teaching workshops on that here in Canada. So why not take that same basic knowledge, and Kelly wants to bring it across the world.
A brilliant formula.
So,
looking forward to it.
So, interesting question. Do you ever plan to move back here permanently? Gotta know.
I knew you were going to ask me that question. I'm blessed. I'm very fortunate that I have family here, and I'm able to come back and forth as often as I can. Right. Whether I will really be here full time, I think that will be very difficult for me. I have been an expatriate for over 20 years almost, really, and travel is in my blood. It will be very difficult to get it out. Maybe I'll spend eventually in a few years, maybe 20 years from now, I'll maybe have a permanent residence here where I spend maybe 80% of my time and then work from here. But right now, Panama's where I'm at. Okay. And I do say that's it. Who knows what after that? I'm open to opportunities. So.
Which is cool. And so we want to make sure that we leave you with the best of the best. So Kelly, what do you want people to know about investing abroad?
It is not difficult. It can be done. You just need to connect with someone you trust. And a good starting point would be with you, Yetta. Yep. And then if Panama is somewhere where you would like or interested in investing in and you'd like more information, then we can help you do that. Right.
And not Panama, then we also have connections everywhere. So this is not exclusive that, and yet this is our expert. So this is so cool. And we have an amazing investment opportunity right now in Ottawa, actually.
Oh, great.
Well, there's always lots in Panama, too.
Tell me about this.
It's one that we have on the market. It is a very interesting building. It's got a lot of charm and character. It's downtown Ottawa. And the potential there could be restaurant, could be businesses, could be even a style of residential. So it's in the core. It's basically a shell of a building, so you get to keep the beauty of the old architecture of downtown Ottawa and then create your dream inside of it. So it's only at 1.3, which for in town, 1.3 million, is not a lot of money.
Not downtown.
No, it's not, and we're having lots of activity on it. It's just come back on the market. We've already sold it once. It's kind of fun when you have property that you get to know intimately, where you help somebody sell it, somebody buys it, and then you help them sell it some years later. And so this is one of those opportunities. If you're interested in that investment or any other investment, whether in Canada or abroad, you will want to connect with us, won't we?
Absolutely. And I'm glad I did.
Yeah, exactly. And so just because I don't want to leave anything on the table.
Okay.
Beyond, it's not difficult. What else could we share?
About investment opportunities in Panama?
Yeah.
Well, I can, it's not difficult. And really it's to keep looking and watching what's happening in Panama, and
read the papers,
and Google it, and if they're really looking for more information and authority really on Panama and what is really going on in Panama, you can Google David Bayless. He's really an authority on what is going on in Panama. He'll give you the history. He's an unbelievable resource. So tap into him.
Perfect. So if this has sparked your interest, you'll want to call me so we can get you connected to whoever you need to get connected with in relation to real estate.
What you wanna do? Well, man, it's all